with the way that President Trump interjects in these issues, it's not unlike, in some ways, they're going to be looking, the students are going to be looking at the terms of service agreement. For example, let's take Twitter, since that's a hot topic right now. And, the president uses that in a quasi-official nature. So although Twitter is governed by the contract law of the agreement between the users and that private company, publicly held company, in terms of the stock market, what the president does there might be an issue, right?
Yeah, and I mean, his tweets are official government records. I mean, they're considered to be official government records, which is kind of weird because the government doesn't maintain them, as a matter of course. So yeah, and it, as you point out, I mean, Twitter is publicly held, but it's not owned by the state, and it's part of the whole thing with Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I mean, they've got this kind of, I hesitate to say journalistic, but there is something mass media about them, but they don't embrace that status, certainly in any kind of consistent manner. But today the president got an exclamation point on his tweet. So, this, find out more about voting by mail. I don't know how long that's going to last, and I'm not sure what prompted Twitter to take that particular response to that particular tweet, because it really seems like there are things which the president has tweeted which seem far more clearly to violate Twitter's terms of service. But
yeah, that seems to be a really tricky area for Twitter, because on the one hand, they're trying to not really go down the road that Facebook has gone down on some of this in terms of political speech and trying to manage it. But on the other hand, there's supposed to be these rules against harassment, and when you're calling a cable television host and former congressman, potentially calling that person a criminal, or saying we open up a cold case, you're going pretty far down that road.
Yeah, I mean, and there've always been like elements of, the taunting ranges from like schoolyard to something a little more serious than that. And, I mean, as you know, Twitter has like kicked people off for far less. And, I don't know what has motivated them to take the particular action that they're taking right now.
But it does get us back to prior restraint, subsequent punishment, and that dichotomy, in the sense that if Joe Scarborough wanted to file a libel suit against the president, he certainly could, right?
Well, he could. Now, whether it gets anywhere is something else entirely. I mean, they're public figures. So I don't know where he'd get, in terms of maintaining the suit for any length of time. Now, if it were to survive a motion to dismiss, then maybe he could get discovery, and that would be really interesting.